Hi everyone, UCL Fantasy Matchday 1 is finally here after a what feels like a super long wait anyway. In this video, I'm going to take you through my Matchday 1 team reveal. I'll also take you through each and every one of my picks, describe some rationale behind all of them, but also my cemented chip strategy. I'll tell you when I'll be limitless in, I'll tell you when I'll be looking to use the wild card and the reasons behind it. So without any more wait, let's get straight into it. So guys, before I go into my team, it's important that we check out my chip strategy. And I'm really flexible this season. The schedule is super tough, so it's very difficult. I've noticed there aren't many standout like periods to use it massively. Usually there seems to be a straightforward plan. I know when I'm using the Limitless, I know when I'm using the wildcard immediately. But I don't think there is that. This season. Now, I know a lot of people are looking to use their match day, a wildcard in match day 2, but I don't really like that. I think it's far too early. We've got to remember that the campaign is months long. I also could probably get quite a few assets that people are going to be targeting on match day 1 into my own team anyway. So I don't really see a massive need to use the wildcard early. Now, I really like wildcarding in 4 and 5. If you check out the fixture swings, before match day 4 and before match day 5, there are quite a lot of fixture swings, you know, for Ajax, Juventus, you know, jumping on and off players. When I was looking and comparing different match days, I found that there was 10 to 15 fixture swings ahead of match day 4 and ahead of match day 5. Which means that using the wildcard ahead of those periods could be super helpful. It's also kind of halfway through the campaign, right? You know, we've learned a lot of information and stuff like that. So I think using the wildcard later on is usually clever. I've kept it flexible. It could be before match day 4 that I use it, or before match day 5. But there are 2 periods that I am really looking at. Limitless, there is a match day 7 is a good time to use it. I think Chelsea, Man City, Bayern, Barca all have good fixtures, and obviously their assets cost quite a lot of money. So I think that's when I could use it. But also navigating match day 8 would be very difficult then. I really like match day 8. I know you're not maximizing your Limitless, but remember the Limitless is multi-purpose. You can use it as a free hit. It doesn't have to necessarily, you don't necessarily have to use it because of limitless budget reasons. You can use it, you know, team dependent. There is usually quite a lot of rotation around match day 8 as well. So I think being able to put all your money into your starting 11, picking out the perfect team, picking a team that ultimately starts, can put you ahead of the people, you know, those who don't have a chip straight away before a ball is kicked, because a lot of those guys could be potentially using hits and so on. So that is where I'm planning on using my Limitless. I think around maybe 7, maybe 8, but also anytime. You know, if I decide that my team is not right or it doesn't look perfect, I could use the Limitless. So that is basically my chip strategy. It's extremely flexible. Again, I don't really like using the wild card in match day 2. I think it's far too early. I think 4 or 5 is probably better in terms of overhauling your players and attacking fixture swings. So with that in mind, let's take a look at my team. So you might be able to notice that my goalkeepers have changed since my first draft, and that is mainly because Guvanch, the Galatasaray goalkeeper who was 4 million, is now not a starter. I found it really difficult to find a pairing with Chevalier, PSG's 4.5 goalkeeper, you know, where he'd rotate really well and would be playing on different days. I really liked him as an asset. It's a real shame that I've had to move off him. But honestly, finding a cheap goalkeeper rotation pairing has been so difficult prior to the season. I've spent hours looking at different rotations and stuff like that. And after a couple of more hours, I've come to an even worse goalkeeper rotation pairing. I'm really joking. Well, it could be. You'll notice I've got Kovar of PSV. So PSV have kept a couple of clean sheets. He's only 4.5 million. But I've also got Ajax's Jaro. So I've gone for a Dutch team goalkeeper pairing here. They both play on different days right up until match day 4, match day 5. Obviously, both from the same country, so they probably wanted to avoid the same day. I'm not saying that they're going to keep loads of clean sheets. I'm not saying that. But for 8.5 million, you've got to remember, it's something I've mentioned before, that I don't really like going for expensive goalkeepers. I'm not massively keen on mid-priced either. I think the cheaper you go, the better. Goalkeepers don't offer that much at all in terms of potential. So why not go all the way as low as possible so you can then afford those more expensive players? So for me, I've gone, yeah, like I said, Kovar and Jaros. Again, two very uncommon goalkeepers. I don't think you'll see a lot of people own one of them, never mind both. But yeah, I think it's important that they both cost 8.5 million tops. They both play on different days. And they're both playing for teams, who could well keep clean sheets. So for me, that is they are my two goalkeepers ahead of match day 1. So you can see there are one or two changes in defence from my previous draft. I've stuck with the Inter double up. Again, Inter have been a little bit shaky at the start of the season. I think they lost recently, and they also kind of had that 4-3 game against Juventus, which doesn't kind of reinforce how good they are defensively. We saw them keep 7 out of 8 league phase clean sheets last season, only conceded 1 goal. So the manager has changed, but the personnel hasn't really changed that much apart from Pavard leaving to Marseille. I really, really like the Inter defence. Acerbi is 37 years old. He's one of the most experienced, and he's still a starter for Inter. And like I said, he's been starting every single match. They play with a back three, so he's more likely to start. I just think a defender playing for Inter at 4.5 million it's very difficult to ignore, especially because he seems like he's nailed now, or at least, will play most matches. Dumfries is in a similar position. He seems untouchable in my draft at the moment. 6 million, 4 goals and assists against Barcelona last season. Relentless. Already got like 3 attacking returns in his last 4. So for me, Dumfries is absolutely nailed. He's also a potential captaincy option, I think, this week on the second day, the Wednesday. So my Inter double up stays. I really like Calafiori at 4.5 million for Arsenal. He started all of their games so far. I can see him coming off early. So I know there was a lot of doubt around whether he might not start, but I can see him coming off early to manage his minutes and maybe get Lewis Skelly on. So I'm pretty comfortable with Calafiori so far. If I don't get comfortable closer to the deadline, I will likely switch to a Newcastle defender, the likes of Fabian Schär, because I think he's only 4.5 million. Porro isn't going anywhere either. He feels like a mini Dumfries, £1 million less, €1 million less. There's not a lot of defenders who offer both goal threat and clean sheet potential, I feel, this season, but Pedro Porro is one of them. Only 5 million playing for a Tottenham side who have got really good fixtures. He's not really shown his attacking threat this season. It's been like Van der Ven and Romero, but he will eventually, I'm convinced. So I really, really like him at 5 million. Now, a new addition to my defence, Rudiger's injury, he plays left centre-back for Real Madrid on a lot of the time, means that Howson is very likely to start most games. He's only 4.5 million. Real Madrid have amazing starting fixtures. I was slightly worried with Rudiger in the mix that Howson could get rested or not start. But now that Rudiger's injured, I think Howson could be one of the best 4.5 million defenders in the game. So really, really like his fixtures. Not much attacking threat, but feels like a really, really solid defence. So that is my backline ahead of match day 1. So this is my midfield. You can see that I don't think much of it's changed at all. Obviously, Salah remains at 10.5 million. I saw his performance against Burnley. I wasn't convinced. Not really been convinced by Salah's performances at all this season, but he is a player who seems to tick along in UCL Fantasy. He's getting points from nothing at the moment. So just imagine when he starts kind of hitting his form of last season, we could really see some explosive kind of output. So Salah stays for now. He is super expensive. I haven't found a need for more budget, so we might as well have Salah. So he's in as well. Elise remains. Elise has been fantastic at the start of the season, a group of goals and assists already. So he started the season fantastic. He was one of the best wingers in the world. He is one of the best wingers in the world. I've said that a couple of times because I genuinely believe he is. And a lot of wingers from Palace seem to be thriving when they leave. Obviously, Eze as well. We saw, bits of him at Arsenal on the weekend. But yeah, going back to Elise, he plays for Bayern. Yes, Chelsea at home is not an ideal fixture, but they are at home. He has Paphos and Club Brugge after that. I don't want to be chasing Elise. I don't want to be kind of scrambling to get him in ahead of match day 2. So it feels like he's fine to just come in this week. I'll just grin and bear match day one. Match day one is not going to be a great week for many people, even those who are attacking the match day one fixtures, I feel. So match day one is just one of those we get past, and at least, you know, he could return, right? I also like Xavi Simons still. You know, we saw it was very positive that we saw him start for Tottenham on the weekend. He did not only started, but he got an assist. So I do kind of feel that he is probably their standout attacker. You know, Kudus hasn't been at it really. So yeah, he does feel like their best option. So I'm quite happy to keep Xavi Simons, especially with those really good fixtures ahead. And it's the same with Anthony Gordon. You know, fixtures. I think Barcelona is a major put off on match day one because, you know, it could be seen as a tough fixture. Barcelona can't really defend. They've shown that in the league this season already. They showed it in the Champions League. So I think Anthony Gordon could get a couple of goals in that first run. The Newcastle fixtures are great, as I mentioned, even that Barcelona in match day one. He could be potentially on hands. You'd expect him to be well rested after his ban. And Pedro Goncalves, he's hit and miss fitness wise. You know, he gets injured quite a lot, but another goal and assist on the weekend for him, kind of edging out Trincao at the moment. But again, I am slightly aware that he is injury prone, but I need a captain on that third day of match day one. And I think the standout is a Sporting player at home to Kairat. And, you know, he's so talismanic, Pedro Goncalves. He's so explosive as well. You know, two attacking returns in his latest game. He got 4 attacking returns in another recent game as well. So for me, I'm really happy with this midfield. I haven't really come off it at all. I've played with the players, you know, having players like Cole Palmer, but he's just got back from injury. There aren't a lot of midfield options that I really, really like to last until around match day 4 and 5. So yeah, really happy with this midfield. I will continue to look at it potentially until right up until the deadline, to see if I go off one of them or potentially like another one. But it feels like I keep coming back to this midfield. I've deleted my team, removed my team a couple of times, removed every player from my team a couple of times, then built a draft. And that's a good way of seeing where you're kind of up to. And I keep falling back to this midfield. So yeah, this is what I've got so far. So up front, you know, nothing really has changed. Kane has been in absolutely relentless form this season. I think he's on double digits for goals and assists already. Bayern, excellent, scoring lots of goals. So, I mean, there is some concern, obviously, that I've gone for the double up in the Bayern attack. And I think, you know, that is fair to kind of ask the questions around that. But, you know, Bayern, again, at home against Chelsea in the first day, Paphos and Club Brugge after that. I think a lot of people are going to want the Kane and Elise double up after this week. So why not just get them in now? They could return in match day one. They're very explosive. So don't be surprised if Bayern score a couple of goals against Chelsea and they're involved in them. So really, really happy with Kane. I'll just leave him in. He's there. Don't have to worry about Kane or bringing him in future. I think eventually there's maybe flexibility to change him up, but I think especially for the first few match days, definitely not. So super happy with Kane. I think Mbappe is close to essential in my view. There's not a lot of players that I think are super essential, but Mbappe feels like that. You know, Real Madrid's early fixtures are fantastic. Mbappe's in excellent form. He got another goal and assist in his most recent game. You know, Pens leading the Real Madrid attack. I just think he's an excellent option, a good option for captaincy on Tuesday, day one of match day one. I also still like Thuram. You know, he did score in his most recent game since I recorded my last draft, so he is in form. Lautaro is more expensive. They both get similar output, so it does feel like a kind of easy decision. So just go for Thuram over Martinez. There are a couple of other strikers that I am interested in. Obviously, there's doubt around Victor Osimhen's fitness, which isn't ideal for Galatasaray because I think he is another good option to start the season with. But I think those three of Kane, Mbappe and Thuram really, really strong to start the season with. So I'm super happy with my front line. So guys, that was my UCL Fantasy Matchday 1 team selection video along with my chip strategy. If you did enjoy that video, again, please remember to hit the subscribe button. I am closing in on 500 subs now. Also, remember to like, and I'll see you guys again soon.